4 adults and 2 toddlers check out of a motel outside St. Louis. They never check into anywhere else. No bank card use, no phone activity, no sightings. Just gone. A man leaves a religious group after 20 years of loyal service. Last seen at a Starbucks, meeting someone he trusted. He never makes it home. And in the foothills of the Chilean Andes, over 100 people vanished behind barbed wire and armed guards. Inside a compound so secretive, it took the US government declassifying its own files decades later, just to confirm what everyone already suspected. 3 groups, 3 continents, built on the same foundation, control someone's world completely enough, and they don't just lose touch with their family. They disappear from it entirely. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how that happens and why isolation wasn't a symptom of what went wrong in these cases. It was the plan from the beginning. Case 1. The University of Cosmic Intelligence, St. Louis, USA, 2023. In August 2023, 6 people, 4 adults and 2 young children, vanished from a rental home in Berkeley, Missouri. Neighbors had noticed them meditating in the backyard daily, deeply devoted to something. Police confirmed what? An online group called the University of Cosmic Intelligence, run by a self-declared prophet named Rashad Jamal. Here's the disturbing part. Jamal was already in a Georgia prison, serving 18 years for child molestation, when this group vanished. But that didn't stop his influence. He kept posting sermons from behind bars, teaching followers they weren't human, that doomsday was coming, that the outside world couldn't be trusted. Therefore, when investigators traced the group's last movements, a hotel checkout on August 13th, the trail simply stopped. No bank activity since, no phone pings, nearly 3 years of silence, until a single TikTok clip resurfaced, showing someone who might be one of the missing women. Police still can't confirm if it's real. Jamal denies ever meeting any of them. 6 people, 2 of them children, are still missing right now. Case 2. His Way Spirit Led Assemblies, California, USA. This group was led by a woman known only as the Prophetess, a title given because members believed the Spirit of God spoke through her. Her husband ran the group's pest control business, which most members worked for, tying their income, housing, and social world entirely to the organization. In December 2017, longtime member Ruben Moreno vanished from a group residence. His family didn't report him missing until 2019, because, as families of cult members often describe, contact had already grown so limited, his absence didn't immediately register. Then in May 2023, a second man disappeared. Emilio Ganem had just left the group after 20 years, planning to start a competing business. Days after receiving a cease and desist letter from the group, he vanished following a meeting at a Starbucks. His truck was later found empty. But this case stopped being theoretical in December 2025, when police and the FBI raided the compound and arrested the prophetess and her husband on suspicion of murder, tied to both men's disappearances. Therefore, 2 families finally got an answer to who was responsible. What they still don't have, what nobody has, is either man's body. Case 3. Colonia Dignidad, Chile, founded 1961. In 1961, a German preacher named Paul Schafer, a fugitive fleeing child abuse charges, founded an isolated colony in the Chilean countryside. He called it Colonia Dignidad, Dignity Colony. From outside, it looked like a self-sufficient farming community. From inside, it was a prison. Members were separated from their families, drugged into compliance, and, investigators later confirmed, abused by Schafer on a scale estimated at up to 10,000 children over 4 decades. When General Pinochet seized power in 1973, Schafer struck a bargain, offering his sealed compound as a secret torture center for the regime's enemies. At least 100 people disappeared inside those walls and were never seen again. One of them was an American. In December 1984, Penn State professor Boris Weisweiler flew to Chile for a solo hiking trip in the Andes. By January, he'd vanished near the Argentine border. His backpack turned up on a riverbank 10 days later, passport untouched inside. For years, Chilean authorities insisted he'd simply drowned. It took the US declassifying its own diplomatic cables over a decade later to reveal what witnesses had actually seen. A military patrol detaining Weisweiler that same day, delivering him, alive, to Colonia Dignidad. According to informants in a later indictment, he was executed inside days after arriving. In 2012, a Chilean judge finally ordered the arrest of 8 former officials for his kidnapping. His body has never been recovered. So here's what connects all 3 of these cases. In St. Louis, a prophet convinced 2 mothers the outside world, including their own families, couldn't be trusted, then kept them moving, off the grid, beyond anyone's reach. In California, a woman who claimed God spoke through her built an entire community's income and housing around loyalty to her, so that even a missing family member took nearly 2 years to be noticed. And in Chile, a fugitive predator built actual walls and struck a deal with a dictatorship, specifically so anyone who vanished inside could vanish completely. The pattern isn't really about belief, or doomsday theology, or spiritual titles. It's about control over one thing: how easily someone could be found if they went missing. Cut off the bank activity, and there's no trail. Cut off the phone contact, and there's no last location. Cut off the family relationship long before anyone disappears, and by the time someone finally asks, "Where are they?" the answer is already gone long enough to feel normal. That's the real answer to the question this video opened with. These people didn't vanish because cults are mysterious. They vanished because someone spent months, sometimes years, making sure that when the moment came, nobody would notice fast enough to stop it. 2 of these cases now have suspects behind bars. 1 still doesn't. But in all 3, the actual people, the 6 in Missouri, the 2 men in California, Boris Weisweiler in Chile, remain exactly where their disappearances left them. Missing. Not mysterious, just missing by design. If mysteries like this get under your skin, then subscribe. And let me know what disappearances you'd like to see next in the comments.